Hi, this is Patrick, and I want to tell some UFO stories. Yesterday, I was hanging out with a good friend of mine that I grew up with, a childhood friend, and he said, "Oh, you want some stories?" And he lives up. I won't give the exact location, but he lives right up on the corner of Humboldt County, right off the Trinity line. Um, and north side of the 101 freeway um, towards Trinity. But he said there was stories up there that he had been having and experiences that he had personally and that his whole family had and that all the people up in that area had. There was uh, over 100 people that had these experiences with these blue orbs, and I asked him all about the orbs because I wanted to get it exactly right. Maybe in the future I might get him to talk in person, but right now I'm going to tell his stories. Um, Back in the 90s, late 90s, uh, him and his girl were living on their property out there, and his mother had another cabin right down the road, which is about a quarter-mile away, and the mother lived there with her young son, his younger brother, and she was in her cabin, and um, the window was open on the cabin, and this orb flew into the window on her cabin, and it was about the size of a softball, a blue and green orb, and it chased her around her cabin, and she grabbed her son, and she was hysterical, and she ran all the way up to her son's house, and this orb chased her all the way up, was like chasing her, and chased her out of her cabin, came in the window, chased her around the cabin, and then she grabbed her son and chased her all the way a quarter mile up to her son's house. And when he got to the house, she got to the house, she was pretty hysterical. So um, her and her son slept on the floor in his cabin, him and his girl's cabin, and they were pretty traumatized by this blue orb. It chased them, and that night, he woke up. His girl woke him up in the middle of the night, screaming, and she's like, "What the hell is that? Oh my God!" And this blue orb was out in front of their house, flying back and forth, and right in the windows, and it was lighting up the whole cabin with a blue light. And his girl was screaming, and he said that he woke up and he was like bummed out that he was getting woke up in the middle of the night, and he's all, "What are you screaming about?" And he goes, "Whoa," he goes, this blue orb was flying back and forth in front of his cabin, and right in the windows and lighting up the whole cabin. And his mother and little brother were on the floor down there, and it was freaking them out. They were screaming too. He said everybody was screaming in the house. So he was pissed, and he screamed, and he was like, "What the hell is that?" And he ran down, and he was coming out, and he said right when he came out and was screaming like that, that it took off and flew away. Probably because he was going to shoot it. He was like, "If something's messing with my family, I'm pretty protective." So I just assumed that's what his thoughts were. But he said when he came out and he was so serious, this thing split. But he told me other stories about riding down the road on his four-wheeler and going back and forth. There's a lot of driving out in the country out there, and Um, he said the blue orb had followed him multiple times, where he was on his four-wheeler and it was right behind him following him, and he said he would just fly and not look back, and he would usually burn them, but they were actually followed him multiple times, these blue orbs. But there was another guy watching his cabin after he moved down and he moved to town, and he said there was multiple people that had these experiences. One guy had the blue orb chase him out of the cabin and off the property and chased him all the way. He left all the way to town, the local town that we live by, which is Garberville. But he said the guy was chased all the way down the hill and left to Garberville. And after that, he went to the hospital. He had a blood infection, and he ended up dying. But I don't know if that had anything to do with the orb, but the orb chased him out and off the property and to town. Well, he had another guy that was also watching the property after that, and the blue orbs came down and chased this guy off the property and all the way back to the local town. But he was telling me a lot of the neighbors around the area were also having experiences with these blue orbs, and there was like hundreds of people out there that were having these stories with these blue orbs, actually chasing people, and pretty scary for some people. I mean, if you were out in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden a blue ball, he described it as a bluish green ball. He said it was the size of a softball, and it moved fast. And I was like, you sure it wasn't a drone or something? And he's like, no, this thing was like electric and was flying around in every direction, and it could just take off like speed of light. The thing was fast. It could like come and go, and like, yeah, he said these orbs are out there, and they'd been harassing a lot of people out there. There was multiple neighbors of his that were also having experiences with these blue orbs. So it was kind of crazy. I mean, he told me about these stories, and I thought I would share them. I mean, I'm going to try to get him to talk in person on the camera one of these days, because it sounds better when it's coming from the person that had the experience. But I wanted to share it. I thought it was a cool story, and I was like, wow, those are pretty cool. But I hope you guys like that story, and please give me a like. Please follow me. God bless.